I am I am an interested party in all that is going on. But talking about the general view, so much has been said. It has been overflogged. River State in the news again from 2015 till now. There has never been a time that we don't make headline news. So political crisis, not about, you are not coming here because there's a major industry that we are about to cut tape or all of that, but you are just chasing us because there is a crisis. Rather sad, while others are talking of development. I may not necessarily have to, because so much has been said about, oh, there is problem between Nyesom Wike and his political godson, Sim, and all of that. We all know the circumstances of how Sim became a governor, but we just want to leave all of that to be in the past, because not two persons can be at the saddle of governorship. We have come to terms with the fact that Sim is the current chief executive of River State today. So what do we do in order to move this state forward? One, I want to charge the current governor to desist from playing an ethnic card. We don't need to get to that point where we degenerate by talking of Izon, Ogoni, Ikweres, and all of that. He should assert himself as the governor of everybody. If he does that, we will all rally support around him, because we need development. Nobody, crisis pay no one's any good. I was discussing with somebody just this afternoon, and I can see the economic giant stride that Akwa Ibom is making. Of course, prior to this time, we were way ahead of Akwa Ibom, but Akwa Ibom seems to be the current destinations of investors who will come into River State in the face of all of this crisis. So we expect him to sit up, since the mantle of governorship, leadership has fallen on him now, to assert himself and to be a governor of all. He should look inward and look for credible men to rally around him so that he can navigate the ship of this state. People might be in Abuja, but we are here in Port Harcourt. We are here in River State. Same should so assert himself. He knows men of integrity. He knows men of goodwill, both in the economic sector, religious, and all of that, that he need to seek counsel from. And with all of that, I think we can make headway. We can make headway. Why should people be threatening the federal government? Why should people be threatening, or even the state government? we should not degenerate to such state of anarchy. As far as I'm concerned, those are just mere empty threats. Like I have stated earlier, Sim need to assert himself as a governor of all. He did not emerge because he's an Izon man. He emerged because though we know how he emerged, but the consideration is that he is a river son. So if he galvanizes the Kwere, galvanizes the Ogoni, galvanizes the Izon, galvanizes the Eche, I think no matter the threat that is coming from any quarter, if the people of River State are behind him, no amount of threat, no godfatherism. You know, I think River State is in the process of rediscovering itself. I see this as a revolution that we want to end this act of godfatherism so that the state can be liberated once and for all. And I also want to use this platform to charge the youth, especially those of your generation, that they should not think about the now, the stomach now, because most of these solidarity marches, rally, and all of that, they are geared towards make their bank account smiles. And so they should look beyond that. Sim is quite a young man. He belongs to that generation. So we expect that he do the needful, and the state will be behind him. Might just be the person that God intends to use now in order to set the state free. We have been yoked for a very long time, and so we may not seem to benefit so much. We may not expect too much from Sim, but God may just have to use him, because, you know, if you were actually not prepared for a thing, you may not know how to go about it. But if Sims can bring about the end of godfatherism, maybe give ourselves another 4-8 years, then the state will now be running on the basis of integrity, on the basis of competency and all of that, men that are competent, who are really prepared to govern the state, we assume the leadership position. So be it. Talking about Songhai Farm and all the rest, there are no local government in this state that is not blessed. There are no local government that cannot stand on its own. There are a lot of comparative advantages that we have all over. So if we have a visionary governor, if we have a God-fearing governor, if we have a governor that thinks of posterity, I think Rivers State will be a heaven for all. Currently, in Rivers State and even in so many states, they see politics as a means of employment. So nobody goes into politics because, oh, I want to offer services. So if you have a strong godfather somewhere, he can gather 32 persons and say, I'm sponsoring you for. So all of these men are not accountable to the people. They are accountable to a godfather. You know, our institutions, democratic institutions, are still very fragile, and we have a lot of strong men. So they were only dancing to the strong man that put them in the assembly. And I want to also salute and commend the Edison-led faction, who were, because they were all sponsored by the same man, who were able to see beyond their nose and say enough is enough. And of course, it is by them standing by the truth that has saved Sim and has brought us to where we are. So much has happened. I don't want to go into the demolition of the State Assembly because it's a sad thing. If you talk, you wanted to do renovation. What's the distance, the difference between demolition and renovation? And like I gathered that the whole of the archives went down. Nothing was salvaged. So it is a sad day for the legislature in Rivers State because the history, there's no reckoning with our past again. The 4th Assembly, the 5th Assembly, the 6th Assembly, 7th Assembly, 8th Assembly, 9th, 10th Assembly, all just go in a swap because one man wants to defend or protect his territory. But that's the sad reality where we find ourselves. Is it justifiable? Of course, the governor is clouded with immunity from both civil and legal, so we cannot delve into that. You talk about the division. What does the law say? Crossing from one party to the other. Was there a crisis in PDP? Was there a division in PDP? There are a lot of a plethora of court cases that has put to rest all of this matter. The one in the recent past is the Cross River State. So are they still honorable members? The Amehule-led faction, are they still honorable members of the River State House of Assembly as pronounced in the Cross Rivers case? You recall, you are a pressman, you know what I'm saying. Are they still honorable members? To me, I think they've shot themselves in the foot. They actually shot themselves in the foot. And it is there for others to learn from. The legislature have always been the whipping child of our democracy. Remember during the 7th Assembly, we were tear gas, we were humiliated. It has always been like that because when you lose the legislature, there is nothing like democracy again. The legislature is the symbol of democracy. So that's why you even see the executive, we want to have a legislative arm that will be a rubber stamp that they can use for their bidding. And most time we play to that. How can you tell me that an appropriation law was presented in a day and the next second it is being signed? Where on earth have you seen all of that? Where? Where have you seen? So the legislature themselves too, they need to stand up. They need to stand up. I told the other time, when the opportunity came for them to vote for their own financial autonomy, they will also vote against themselves. They need to stand up because if there is, we practice the actual doctrine of separation of power, where the legislature is populated by men of integrity, men of honor, who are thinking of posterity, they will be able to put the executive arm of government in their proper perspective where they belong. So if we are able to elect and vote into power credible men, both at the national, no matter who is the president, because the Appropriation Act or law must always come there. So no matter what, you'll be able to. But we are suffering what we are suffering today because whether national or state, the legislature is a mockery. Sorry to say that. It's a mockery. It's a mockery. Whether in the Senate or the National Assembly, it's a mockery. But if they will rediscover themselves and rise up, knowing that posterity will call them to account, how long are we going to be here that we will not want to do the right thing? I want to be remembered for doing the right thing. So that is it. That's why you always see the attack on the legislature, because they represent democracy and they are always a threat to the other arms of government. Let me ask, are you sure that the bow, the arrow has not left the bow in the context of some of those ones? At what point did they rescind their action? At what point? For me, for as many that the gavel has fallen via what the Ehie did, I think they have gone with the wind. Goodbye to them. Maybe they will go and try their luck in 2027. This is a reverse problem. There is also a reverse solution. I have spoken extensively. The word is enough for the wise. We will resolve it in a reverse way. We don't need the intervention of Abuja. I say Rivers State is in a state of revolution, rediscovering itself. So it has started. And when we get to the bridge, I can assure you that we are going to cross it. And whatever solution that the generality of Rivers people prefer to all of this, I think all of us will abide by it.